Это Андрей.
Було колись в Україні ревіли гармати, було колись запорожці вміли панувати, панували, добували славу і волю, залишалися могили на полі. Серце козака, серце козака. Ой-ой-ой, серце козака, високий ті могили, де не розпочити, летіло, кінькові, високі ті могили, життя горі, на волю ніж у полі, говорить.
Серце козака б'ється сильно, значить будемо жити вільно.
Висипали запорожці манчеві крили, край же море заспівав запільні листи. Другом крилі, як ті гори, ні землі, ні неба, серце мріє козакам того пішло і треба. Серце козака, серце козака. Серце козака, серце козака. Серце козака б'ється сильно, значить будемо жити вільно. Серце козака б'ється сильно, значить будемо жити вільно.
Слава Україні!
Героям слава!
Слава Україні!
Героям слава!
Слава Україні!
Героям слава!
Слава нації! Смерть ворогам! Русський воєнний корабль!
Іди нахуй!
Участь!
Хуйло!
Ах ты молодец моя!
Слава ЗСУ!
Слава ЗСУ!
Вот война!
Добрый вечер, friends. 1 year ago, many of us stood here and there were feelings of outrage, anger, betrayal, shock. 1 year later, we stand here today with a very different set of feelings that I see in your faces. What I see in your faces is a look of determination that Ukraine has stood and will win and will stand. What I see in many of your faces is the feeling of hope that this is a turn for a very positive direction for Ukraine's history. In a way, this is a new beginning for Ukraine. We have never been this united. We have never felt the support of the entire world behind us like we feel today. While the Russian soldiers sow our fields with landmines, hate, and armored vehicles, we turn around and we continue planting sunflowers, peace, and prosperity for a country that is going to be free, united, and supported by the entire world for self-determination. What Vladimir Putin thought would be a 2-week war where he would basically enslave the Ukrainian people turned into a global movement where everyone that you see around you, from Slovakia, from Poland, from all over the world, standing with Ukraine and showing that what happened in the 1940s in Europe is unacceptable and cannot happen anytime from now on and in the future. To each and every one of you standing here today, thank you. Thank you for coming out and standing with Ukraine. Thank you for standing up for freedom, for independence, and for the right of people all over the world to have self-determination. What we have shown this world is that the kind of evil happening from Vladimir Putin's regime can never happen again. When you see the Eiffel Tower in the colors of yellow and blue, and most buildings all across Europe and the world colored in yellow and blue, it means one thing: that the world order is going to be a peaceful one, that we will never stand for war, hate, and sowing landmines in fields that have been and will always be sown with the sunflowers that we have sown in front of the Russian embassy. So thank all of you. And Slava Ukraini!
Героям слава!
Slava Ukraini!
Героям слава!
Slava Ukraini!
Героям слава!
Friends, over the next hour or so, we will have other speakers joining and giving messages. But more important than ever, it is for you to stand here and let your voice be heard all around the world, that the hate that we are seeing today from Vladimir Putin's regime will never stand. Thank you.
We stand with you.
A quick announcement. There are a couple unattended bags in front of the embassy. Police said that they will be removed, so whoever they belong to, please take care of them.
Shame on Russia!
Shame on Russia! Shame on Russia! Shame on Russia! Shame on Russia! Shame on Russia! Shame on Russia! Shame on Russia! Shame on Russia! Shame on Russia!
Shame on Russia! Shame on Putin! Putin, yes, suki sen! Yes! It's the jungle!
Нет войне!
Перемога Україні! Понад усе! I stand with Ukraine!
I stand with Ukraine. 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 I stand with Ukraine.
We stand with Ukraine. We stand with Ukraine.
We stand with Ukraine.
Always with Ukraine.
Always with Ukraine.
Always with Ukraine.
Always with Ukraine.
We together with Ukraine.
Be together with Ukraine.
We together with Ukraine.
Be together with Ukraine.
Yep.
Yesterday there were like 10 less people, 10 times less. Yes, I went.
Oh, yesterday?
Yes.
Yeah, right. I saw that. I didn't even know they were going to do
They
it.
didn't close. They didn't close the street yesterday. Even yes.
Мы хотим смотреть балет. Мы хотим смотреть балет. Ледите, выходи. Ледите, выходи.
Рідна мати моя, ти ночей не доспала, ти водила мене у поля край села, і в дорогу далеку ти мене до зорі проводжала, і рушник вишиваний на щастя дало. І в дорогу далеку ти мене до зорі проводжала, і рушник вишиваний на щастя, на долю дала. Хай на ньому цвіте росяніста доріжка, і зелені листовині гаї, і твоя нестрастлива і твоя незрадлива материнська ласкава усмішка і засмучені очі хороші блакитні твої.
I think I saw you on the bus. Did you? I ended up doing metro and the bus and driving all the way here. I thought I saw you, but then it was so crowded. Oh yeah, it was gonna stop. Yeah. No, that was horrible.
І твоя незрадлива материнська ласкава усмішка і засмучені очі світні твої.
The people I was waiting, I waited like 20 minutes and they said that they had been waiting.
Я візьму той рушник, простелю наче долю, всім шелесті трав, шебетані дібров, і на тім рушничкові оживе все знайоме до болю. Розлука і вірна любов.
Do you mean I'll have it?
І на цім
don't see you trying to take a picture. I'm not.
рушничкові оживе
Oh, no worries.
все знайоме
No, everyone's.
до болю.
It's impossible to disorganize.
І дитинство й розлука твоя материнська любов.
Well, because they had the road open too long.
Yeah, that was.
I don't know why they didn't close it earlier.
Yeah, they should have just closed it before this.
Dear Ukrainian Americans and friends, my name is Andriy Fuchs, Committee of America. We are gathered here today with millions of Ukrainians around the world, even as far places as in Southeast Asia and Australia, to remind the world of the atrocities that are occurring. Let there be no mistake. This is genocide against Ukraine and the Ukrainian nation. This is genocide. We need to hold Putin and his cronies accountable. We need Putin to be tried by the World Tribunal for war crimes against humanity. Put Putin in jail. Put Putin in jail. Put Putin in jail. I have a challenge for all of you. From now on, from tomorrow morning, even though it's Saturday, start calling your congressional offices, your U.S. senators, your U.S. congressmen. Ask them to do three things. First and foremost, to designate the current war as an act of genocide against the Ukrainian nation.
Stop the genocide!
Number two, Russia is a terrorist state. Designate Russia as a terrorist state. Russia is a terrorist. Russia is a terrorist. Russia is a terrorist state. Russia is a terrorist state. Russia is a terrorist state.
Russia is a terrorist state.
Number three, make sure that the U.S. government keeps sending the strongest, the biggest, the largest weapons to Ukraine. We need the jets. We need the long-range missiles. Let me tell you something. Your elected representatives listen to you. And I turn to our Polish, Lithuanian, Latvian, Estonian, Georgian, Czech, and Slovakian friends and all others. We can only do this united. We do this as a coalition because Ukraine stands on the forefront of democracy for the whole world. This is not the time for us to sit. This is the time for us to unite, to work together. Slava Ukraini! Slava Ukraini! Slava Ukraini! Slava Ukraini! Dear friends, my name is Paul Grod, and I am the president of the Ukrainian World Congress, an organization that represents the interests of a 20 million strong Ukrainian diaspora represented with organizations in over 65 countries around the world. And I'm very proud to be here with my friend and colleague, Andriy Futey and Mikhailo Salkiu, who is the president of the Ukrainian Congress Committee of America and the vice president of the Ukrainian World Congress. I just got in today from New York, where I was at sessions at the United Nations. At the United Nations, there were several key things happening. Number one, Ukraine organized a symposium, a whole-day symposium about the human rights violations, the atrocities, and the genocides going on in Ukraine. This was held in the United Nations. And I was accompanied by members of civil society, members of people who have suffered through Russia's torture. The point is that Russia is committing genocide in Ukraine. And let's talk about the stories that were told today and yesterday and the day before at the United Nations by those who were captured, whether it was before the full-scale invasion or during the full-scale invasion. Because they were Ukrainians, they were tortured, they were executed, they were sexually violated, they were assaulted, only because they were Ukrainian. And those were not just incidents isolated. This is systemic. Russia is systemically trying to annihilate and kill the Ukrainian people, as they did 90 years ago during the Holodomor, where they starved to death millions of Ukrainians and then resettled those lands with ethnic Russians. They continue to try to do the same today to the Ukrainian people. Russia needs to be brought to justice. And we called upon at the United Nations for the United Nations to create an international Russian war crimes tribunal in order to try Russia for the crime of aggression. The International Criminal Court is not sufficient because they will only try the petty soldiers who are just following orders. There will be a massive gap between those who orchestrated, those who designed, and those who committed the crimes. The people who designed and are responsible for these crimes are Vladimir Putin, Sergei Lavrov, and all the henchmen and all the generals and all the political, all the military, all the artists who are supporting Putin, all the financiers that are supporting Putin. They are all responsible and should be brought to justice through an international criminal court that is attributable and similar to the Nuremberg trials that we prosecuted the Nazis under. Ladies and gentlemen, Russia needs to be brought to justice. We need to create an international war crimes tribunal to bring Putin to jail. Putin needs to be in jail. Put Putin in jail.
Put Putin in jail.
Put Putin in jail. Put Putin in jail. Put Putin in jail. Put Putin in jail. Put Putin in jail.
Put Putin in jail.
6 feet under.
In addition to an international war crimes tribunal, the international community must impose severe sanctions on Russia. We must choke the Russian economy because they're continuing to be able to finance this genocidal war against Ukraine. We must impose deep, solid sanctions. We must choke off the Russian economy. We must also, ladies and gentlemen, ensure that Ukraine, as my friend Andriy Fute said, gets all the weapons that it needs. We can't be tethering back. We can't be holding off. Ukraine needs everything today in order to win this war. Weapons for Ukraine. 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 Lastly, ladies and gentlemen, Russians cannot travel around the world feeling that they can represent Russia. Russia needs to we need to demonstrate that Russia has no place in the international community until it stops committing this genocide and pays reparation and rebuilds Ukraine. Russia must be banned from any Olympic sport. Russia must be banned from any athletic activities. Any kind of Russian apologists must be banned from the international stages. Ladies and gentlemen, we must ban Russia from the Olympics. 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 Ladies and gentlemen, as was said by Andriy Fute from the Ukrainian Congress Committee of America, it is up to all of us, whether we live in the United States, whether we live in Canada, Australia, Germany, France, Argentina, we must build a strong international coalition. And it's up to each and every one of us to make sure that our fellow Americans, our fellow Germans, our fellow Canadians, that they all know every day that Russia is committing a genocide in Ukraine. Because without that popular support, within our respective countries. The politicians, the diplomats cannot make the hard decisions they need to make. It's up to us to pressure them to make those hard decisions, give Ukraine the long-range weapons, give Ukraine the tanks, give Ukraine the aircraft that they need. So ladies and gentlemen, it's up to all of us to continue every day making a difference for Ukraine. Let's together make a difference for Ukraine. Ladies and gentlemen, make a difference for Ukraine. 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 Ladies and gentlemen, Ukraine will be victorious. It's a question of when and how many lives need to be lost. But Ukraine will win. 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 Слава Україні! Героям слава! Слава Україні! Героям слава! Слава Україні! Героям слава!
Let's just please. Ben, is it okay?
Ой, у лузі червона калина похилилася, чогось наша славна Україна зажурилася, а ми тую червону калину підіймемо, а ми нашу славну Україну розвеселимо. А ми нашу славну Україну, гей, розвеселимо.
Нам треба співаків.
Ой, у лузі червона калина похилилася, чогось наша славна Україна зажурилася, а ми тую червону калину підіймемо, а ми нашу славну Україну, гей, гей, розвеселимо. Марширують наші добровольці у кривавий тан, визволяти братів українців з ворожих кайдан, а ми наших братів українців визволимо, а ми нашу славну Україну, гей, гей, розвеселимо. Не хилися, червона калино, маєш білий цвіт. Не журися, славна Україно, маєш вільний рід. А ми тую червону калину підіймемо, а ми нашу славну Україну, гей, гей, розвеселимо. Гей, у полі ярої пшениці золотистий лан, розпочали стрільці українські з ворогами тан, а ми тую ярою пшеницю і зберемо, а ми нашу славну Україну, гей, гей, розвеселимо. Як повіє буйнесенький вітер широких степів, та й прославить по всій Україні січових стрільців, а ми тую стрільницькою славу збережемо, а ми нашу славну Україну, і червона калина похилилася, чогось наша славна Україна зажурилася, а ми тую червону калину підіймемо, а ми нашу славну Україну гей, гей, розвеселимо. Слава Україні!
Героям слава!
Слава нації!
Смерть ворогам!
Україна!
Понад усе!
Путін, сукий син!
Слава Україні! Слава Україні! Слава Україні! I am Nadia Shaparinska, the president of US-Ukrainian activists. We are co-organizers of today's vigil. Also, please attend our main event tomorrow by the Lincoln Memorial at 2 p.m. That event will follow with the march to the residence of the Russian ambassador at 4:30 p.m. So at 2 p.m. there will be large event, mass event in support of Ukraine by the Lincoln Memorial. And then at 4:30 there will be march from the grounds of the Washington Monument just across the World War II Memorial to the residence of the Russian ambassador. Thank you. Dear friends, thank you so much for coming today. We stand here tonight at the edge of a foreign country, a country where there is no free speech, a country where even questioning authorities will put you in jail or put a bullet in your head, a country that has committed war crimes over and over and over. We stand at the edge of Russian territory, a nation with a quarter population without indoor plumbing, but the nation that sent its fighter jets to bomb entire cities into flattened ruins in Ukraine and other countries. Now, the Russian Federation is openly declaring its intent to wipe an entire Ukrainian nation from the face of the earth. Russia is a terrorist state.
Russia is a terrorist state!
Russia is a terrorist state.
Russia is a terrorist state!
Russia is a terrorist state.
Russia is a terrorist state!
Russia is a terrorist state.
Russia is a terrorist state!
Russia
Is a terrorist state!
Russia is a terrorist state.
Russia is a terrorist state! Russia is a terrorist state!
Today, December the 24th, we are having also a candlelight vigil to mark 1 year of the Russia's full-scale war against Ukraine. During this year, the Russian Federation has been conducting genocide, death, war crimes, crimes against humanity, and destruction all over Ukraine. Genocide against Ukraine, Ukrainian people, and Ukrainian culture is the official position of the Russian Federation. Russian missiles have rained down across Ukraine, killing thousands of innocent Ukrainians and leaving millions without power, heat, and water. This year, Russian troops penetrated deep into Ukraine's heartland, committing mass atrocities on their occupied territory. When Ukraine was liberating its territories, the entire world was shocked to see what Russia left behind. Mass graves of innocent Ukrainian children, women, and men, as well as destruction of their homes and Ukraine's infrastructure. Civilians and innocent people are dying in Ukraine every single day. Russia, stop your genocide in Ukraine.
Russia, stop your genocide in Ukraine.
Russia, stop your genocide in Ukraine.
Russia, stop the genocide in Ukraine.
Russia, stop your genocide in Ukraine.
Russia, stop your genocide in Ukraine.
Stop your war 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 in Ukraine.
Get out of Ukraine.
Get out of Ukraine.
Get out of Ukraine.
Get out of Ukraine.
Stop your war against 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 Ukraine.
Russia has been actively committing war crimes and terrorism in Ukraine since the full-scale invasion on February the 24th last year, targeting civilian objects and infrastructure and killing innocent Ukrainians, children, women, and men. Russia war crimes will be punished.
Russia's 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 war crimes will be punished.
Today, we also have a vigil to commemorate those innocent Ukrainian souls who lost their lives during this senseless war against Ukraine that Russia started in 2014. Let's have a minute of silence now. Thank you. And all of us continue praying for all the Ukrainian innocent souls, all the Ukrainian brave women and men who lost their lives in this unprovoked and brutal war against Ukraine. Russia is a terrorist state.
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 Yes, a terrorist state.
Russia is 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 a terrorist state.
Stop killing innocent children.
Stop killing innocent children.
Stop killing innocent children.
Stop killing innocent children.
Stop killing innocent Ukrainians.
Stop killing innocent Ukrainians.
Stop killing innocent Ukrainians.
Stop killing innocent Ukrainians.
Stop killing innocent children.
Stop killing innocent children.
Stop your war in Ukraine.
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 Stop your genocide 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 in Ukraine.
Ukraine now.
Leave Ukraine now!
Leave Ukraine now.
Leave Ukraine now!
Leave Ukraine now.
Leave Ukraine now!
Leave Ukraine now.
Leave Ukraine now!
Hands off Ukraine.
Hands off Ukraine!
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 Stop your terrorism in Ukraine.
Stop your terrorism in Ukraine!
Stop your terrorism in Ukraine.
Stop your terrorism in Ukraine!
Stop your terrorism in Ukraine.
Stop your terrorism in Ukraine!
Stop killing innocent civilians.
Stop killing innocent civilians!
Stop killing innocent civilians.
Stop killing innocent civilians!
Stop murdering civilians.
Stop murdering civilians!
Stop murdering civilians.
Stop murdering civilians!
Stop your genocide in Ukraine.
Stop your genocide in Ukraine!
Stop your genocide in Ukraine.
Stop your genocide in Ukraine!
Stop your genocide in Ukraine.
Stop your genocide in Ukraine!
Get out of Ukraine.
Get out of Ukraine!
Get out of Ukraine.
Get out of Ukraine!
Get out of Ukraine. Get out of Ukraine.
Get out of Ukraine!
We know that Ukraine will overcome evil. Ukraine will win, and all the people in Ukraine will once again live in safety, freedom, and peace. Ukraine will win.
Ukraine will win!
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 Слава Україні!
Героям слава!
Слава Україні!
Героям слава!
Слава Україні!
Героям слава!
Україна!
Понад усе!
Україна!
Понад усе!
Україна!
Понад усе!
Dear supporters of Ukraine, thank you so much for coming today to show your support for all the Ukrainians, for the Ukrainian nation, and for Ukraine that is fighting against Russia's military aggression every moment since 2014. We know that Ukraine will win, but Ukraine needs a lot of support from all of you. And Russia will be punished. Russia will be punished.
Russia will be punished!
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 Russia will be punished.
Russia will be punished! Russia will be
Putin is a
punished!
war criminal.
Putin is a war criminal!
Putin is a war criminal.
Putin is a war criminal!
Putin is a war criminal.
Putin is a war criminal!
Putin is a war criminal.
Putin is a war criminal!
Russia's war crimes will be punished.
Russia's war crimes will be punished!
Russia's war crimes will be punished.
Russia's war crimes will be punished!
Russia is a terrorist state.
Russia is a terrorist state!
Russia is a terrorist state.
Russia is a terrorist state!
Shame on Russia.
Shame on Russia!
Shame on Russia.
Shame on Russia!
Shame on Russia.
Shame on Russia!
Shame on Russia!
Shame on Russia!
Russia, stop your terrorism in Ukraine!
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 Russia, stop your war 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 in Ukraine!
Russia, stop your genocide 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 in Ukraine!
Get out of Ukraine!
Get out of Ukraine!
Get out of Ukraine!
Get out of Ukraine!
Leave Ukraine now!
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 Stop murdering innocent children!
Stop murdering innocent children!
Stop killing innocent children!
Stop killing innocent children!
Stop killing innocent civilians!
Stop killing innocent civilians!
Stop killing innocent civilians!
Stop killing innocent civilians!
Stop your war in Ukraine!
Stop your war in Ukraine!
Stop your genocide in Ukraine!
Stop your genocide in Ukraine!
Stop bombing Ukrainian cities!
Stop bombing Ukrainian cities!
Stop bombing Ukraine now!
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 Stop bombing Ukrainian hospitals!
Stop bombing Ukrainian hospitals!
Stop bombing Ukrainian schools!
Stop bombing Ukrainian schools!
Stop bombing Ukrainian cities!
Stop bombing Ukrainian cities!
Stop bombing Ukraine now!
Stop bombing Ukraine now!
Stop bombing Ukraine now!
Stop bombing Ukraine now!
Russia is a terrorist state!
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 Stop your terrorism in Ukraine!
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 Stop your war in Ukraine!
Stop your war in Ukraine!
Stop your war against 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 Ukraine!
Leave Ukraine now!
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 Stop your genocide in Ukraine!
Stop your genocide in Ukraine!
Stop your war machine 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 in Ukraine!
Stop your genocide in Ukraine!
Stop your genocide in Ukraine!
Stop your war 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 in Ukraine!
Stop killing innocent children!
Stop killing innocent children!
Stop killing Ukrainian children!
Stop killing Ukrainian children!
Stop killing Ukrainian women!
Stop killing Ukrainian women!
Stop killing Ukrainian men!
Stop killing Ukrainian men!
Stop your war crimes in Ukraine!
Stop your war crimes in Ukraine!
Get Ukraine now.
Leave 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 Ukraine now.
Ukraine will win.
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 Glory to Ukraine.
Glory to Ukraine.
Glory to heroes.
Glory to heroes.
Слава Україні.
Героям слава.
Слава Україні.
Героям слава.
Слава Україні.
Героям слава.
Україна.
Понад усе.
Україна.
Понад усе.
Україна.
Понад усе.
Слава нації.
Смерть ворогам.
Слава нації.
Смерть ворогам.
Слава нації.
Смерть ворогам.
Україна.
Понад усе.
Україна.
Понад усе.
Україна.
Понад усе.
Shame on Russia.
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 Russia, stop your war in Ukraine.
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 Russia, stop your war against 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 Ukraine.
Stop your genocide in Ukraine.
Stop your genocide in Ukraine.
Stop your war machine 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 in Ukraine.
Russia's war crimes will be punished.
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 Ukraine will win.
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 Слава Україні!
Героям слава!
Слава Україні!
Героям слава!
Слава Україні!
Героям слава!
Україна!
Понад усе!
Україна!
Понад усе!
Україна!
Понад усе!
Слава нації!
Смерть ворогам!
Dear friends, please come tomorrow to attend our event in support of Ukraine in Washington, D.C. by the Lincoln Memorial at 2 p.m. Later, at 4:30 p.m., we will have a march from the grounds of the Washington Monument. We will gather across the World War II Memorial on the lawn of the Washington Monument grounds, and we will march on the 17th Street to the residence of the Russian ambassador. So we will have the main event at 2 p.m. and then we will have march at 4:30 p.m. We hope to see all of you tomorrow in Washington, D.C. Thank you.
Слава Україні! Героям слава! Слава Україні! Героям слава! Слава Україні! Героям слава! Україна! Понад усе! Україна! Понад усе! Слава Україні! Героям слава! Слава Україні! Героям слава! Україна!
Russia, go home!
Russia, go home!
Russia, go home!
Russia, go home!
Hey, what's up? Good to see you, man. Good to see you. I'd like for you. Good. Moved to Virginia, so it's a little bit more of a trip each time I come into DC. This used to be like a 15-minute bus ride. Now it's more like a drive to a metro to a bus.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I live just over there, but my office is in McLean, so it's right now.
McLean, Virginia?
Yeah.
Oh. Interesting. So you commute kind of the opposite way.
Pretty much, yeah. I'm reversing it.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
At least the traffic must be.
Well, I do metro.
Metro?
Metro, yeah.
Are you going tomorrow?
Yeah, you?
Yeah.
I thought you were last year, right?
Yeah, actually, yeah, I guess that would be exactly a year ago.
Yeah. And Trey's been doing some amazing work.
Yeah, he's still there. He's come back for like a few breaks in between. He's spent the most of his life. Yeah, that's scary.
Слава Україні! Слава Україні! Слава Україні!
Слава Україні!
Героям слава!
Слава Україні!
Героям слава!
I am Chinese, and today I'm Ukrainian, I'm also an American. I want you to know you have international support. And so tonight I just want to say a little prayer because God is weeping. Actually I wrote a poem, but it's a little bit too long. But I will just reflect on what God has told us. Telling us you are suffering, your people are suffering, handing so much misery, the downtrodden. The answer to the downtrodden, miserable people is not communism. It is freedom and democracy. God created America to be strong for this very moment, to defend the defenseless, to really defend Ukraine. This is the moment America must live up to what God gave her. We saw all the terrible pictures of destruction, the terrorists, destruction and murder and all kinds of violence. So God is very sad. God is tearing. God is very sympathetic, compassionate.
Russian Federation and to the Russian people.
All right, so thank you. God bless everyone. And peace be with you. God bless.
Я українка. Моє ім'я неважливе. Мій вік не має значення. Я жінка, але я так само можу бути і чоловіком. Я родом із Горлівки, що на Донбасі, але я так само могла бути і з Маріуполя. Я це будь-хто. Кожен мусить покинути власне ви почали у 2014. I'm Ukrainian. My name doesn't matter. My age doesn't matter. I'm a woman, but I could just as easily be a man. I'm originally from Gorlivka in Donbass, but I could just as easily be from Mariupol. I'm everyone whom you have displaced in this war you started in 2014. Може, ви думаєте, що це нечемно з мого боку отак прийти до вашого посольства? Але ви вкрали мій дім двічі. You may think it's rude for me to come to your embassy like this, but you stole my home from me twice. Ви вкрали мій дім вперше у 2014-му, прикриваючись референдумами та бажаннями народу. Але я добре пам'ятаю ці нові, чужі, завезені на наші землі обличчя та злочини їх власників. You stole my home for the first time in 2014. It was under the guise of referendums and the will of the people. But I remember well these new foreign faces you brought to our land and the crimes of their leaders. Я людина, яка чула в свою сторону фразу «Тобі не можна повертатися в Горлівку, ти в списках». Сьогодні там в полон взяли волонтера, але його відпустили. І знаєш чому? Бо це була не ти. Ви взагалі можете уявити себе у подібній ситуації, як якісь невідомі тобі бандити в один момент кажуть «Твій дім тепер наш, а якщо наважишся приїхати, тебе вб'ють». I am a person who heard the phrase "You cannot return to Gorlivka. You are on the lists." Today, a volunteer was captured there, but he was released. And do you know why? Because it wasn't you. Can you even imagine yourself in this situation when some bandits that you don't know taking your home and saying to you, "Your house is now ours, and if you dare to come back to it, you will be killed." Потім ви намагалися вкрасти мій дім вдруге, минулого року в Бучі, і вбити всю мою сім'ю. Then you tried to steal my home a second time, this time in Bucha, this year, and you tried to kill my whole family. Бо це і є руський мір та його методи, обман, крадіжки, вбивства. This is your Russian world. Your box, Russian. These are its methods, deception, theft, murder. Насправді, ви просто невдахи. Хотіли нас залякати, ми стали сміливіші. Хотіли нас зламати, ми стали стійкіші. Хотіли вкрасти у нас, ми стали ще більш свідомі, бо ми українці. The truth is that you're just a loser. Did you want to scare us? We have become bolder. Did you want to break us? We have become more stable. Did you want to steal us from us? We have become even more conscious of who we are, because we are Ukrainians. І знаєте, я думаю, ви і самі зараз хапаєтеся за голову та питаєте себе, що ми наробили. Але ж пихатість не дає визнати помилки. Тому ваша влада скоріше вб'є вашого останнього громадянина, аніж зупиниться. And you know, I can imagine you holding your head and asking yourself, what have we done? But pride does not allow you to admit your mistakes. So your government would rather kill your last citizen than stop. Ми були наївні, думали, що ви маєте право голосу, думали, ви можете їх зупинити. Але ви цього не зробили, бо ви не хочете. Простіше жити у світі брехні, аніж визнати, що вас дурять. Чи не так? We were naive. We thought you, the Russians, would raise your voices. We thought you could stop them. But you haven't, because you don't want to. It is easier to live in a world of lies than to admit what fools you were. Бо для того, щоб визнати власну неправоту, треба мати в серці гідність, якої ви не маєте. In order to admit one's wrongdoing, one must have dignity in one's heart, and you don't have that. Здавалося б, що може бути більш принизливим, ніж розпочати агресивну війну, напасти на сусідню країну. Але і тут ви пішли далі. Бо навіть ваші методи ведення війни – це варварство, викрадення, зґвалтування, вбивства дітей, запуски ракет в житлові будинки, катування, знущання над тваринами, знищення нашої інфраструктури. Is there anything that could be lower than starting an aggressive war, attacking a neighboring country? It turns out that even here you went further. The methods of warfare are barbaric. Kidnapping, rape, the murder of children, launching rockets into residential buildings, torture, abuse of animals, destruction of our infrastructure. Ні, ви не ведете війну за мир, за правду, як стверджує ваша пропаганда. Ви скоюєте терор. І весь світ тепер сканує: Росія – терорист. А ви все кричите: більше ракет на Київ. You're not waging a war for peace, for truth, as your propaganda says. You are committing terrorism, and the whole world is now chanting, Russia is a terrorist state, and yet you keep shouting, more rockets to Kyiv. Ви програли ще у 2014-му, бо ми стоїмо на своїй землі, бо ЗСУ боронить своїх людей, бо ми єдині, як ніколи раніше, і цього не змінити, цього не змінять ні ракети, ні блекаути, ні погрози. Вам ніколи цього не зрозуміти, і мені вас шкода, ви глибоко нещасні. You have lost back in 2014. Because we stand on our land. The armed forces of Ukraine defends its people. We're more united than ever before, and you cannot change that. Neither rockets, blackouts, nor threats will change this. You will never understand this, and I feel sorry for you for that. You must be deeply unhappy. Війна триває. Я закликаю міжнародні медіа та організації не зупинятись, висвітлювати події, говорити правду та робити все можливе, щоб зупинити російську агресію. Я прийшла сюди, щоб нагадати світові: Stand with Ukraine.
Okay, folks, so the rally kind of in earnest ended just a little bit. Ended a bit ago. Tomorrow is going to be the larger rally, which is going to be at 2 p.m. at the Lincoln Memorial. It's actually essentially the same place that took place exactly a year ago. So on February 24th, there was a rally last year. I believe it was February 24th last year was when the invasion happened, and then I believe the rally happened the same day. Maybe it was the following day, but immediately sort of demanding American support for Ukraine. So with the conflict still ongoing, they are intending to do essentially a demonstration kind of mimicking that again tomorrow at the Lincoln Memorial. And then I believe what I heard them say as well is that at 4:30, and these times are Eastern Standard Time here in DC, that they're going to do a march to, I think they said the ambassador's residence, but some Russian figurehead who's here. I believe they said that it was the Russian ambassador's residence, although I might be wrong about that. That I heard that for the first time out here, as you saw live. So I will certainly be back in DC covering all of that tomorrow afternoon. So stay tuned. That'll either be one sort of long live stream beginning at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, or it might be, a couple of segments. So with that, like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. Have a safe, fun, and happy Friday night. Thank you, everybody, for watching.